So my name is Trieu Cao. I'm also an SVD seminarian. So my journey to Bolivia began one day after the feast day of the Assumption of Mary in 2015. I was eager to go there after spending 2.5 months with my family in Vietnam. And without knowing, more than 40 hours of flying and waiting, passing through like 3 countries with 5 connecting flights. And finally, I arrived in my final destination to begin a new chapter of my vocational journey. So welcome to Bolivia. The land was named in honor of Simon Bolivar, a leader of the Spanish-American Wars of Independence. So if you want to know a little bit more about Simon Bolivar, you can talk with Father Boucher. I think he's going to give you a lot of information about that. So the original name was Republic of Bolivar. But then a few days later, a congressman named Martin Cruz, he proposed, if from Romulus comes Rome, then from Bolivar comes Bolivia. So that's why we have this name until now. So as you can see it from the map, Bolivia is bordered with Peru and Brazil in the north, Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay in the south. It is one of the 2 landlocked countries in South America. With Paraguay, it is quite big in terms of territory, but relatively small in terms of economy and military. And I think in general, Bolivia is a good place to experience missionary life. During the last 10 years, Bolivia has received many OTP seminarians. During the time that I stayed there, 2 seminarians, one from Germany and the other from the Philippines, were also doing their OTP over there. And 2 other seminarians also came to Bolivia for their 1-year experience before their diaconate ordination, one from Peru and the other from Paraguay. So we do receive a lot of seminarians to Bolivia. So here is the SVD community in Bolivia. And I think one can experience the richness of the intercultural living in the SVD community over there. So we have like 26 priests, 6 brothers, and 3 seminarians, and from 19 different nationalities. So there were European, Asian, African, South American. So cultural diversity is the characteristic that make the SVD stand out among the different religious community in Bolivia. And you know that it also brings some challenges and sometimes causes trouble, conflict among the conference. So that's why there is a very common saying in the SVD in Bolivia: La vida misionera no es fácil. I think some of you can understand that. So the missionary life is not easy. So that is the reality. So this one is the Bolivia. So pretty much the SVD over there, we are working in different parishes. We have 2 parishes in La Paz, the capital of Bolivia. We also have 2 parishes in Cochabamba, another 1 parish in Santa Cruz, and further east in Chiquitania we have 3 parishes. And we have a small community in Oruro. We have the first SVD bishop living over there with 1 brother. So let me begin my journey by telling you how people call or write my name in Bolivia. You know that I like my name, and I think most of you here too, right? You like to listen to your name because that is something familiar to you. And for me too, I like my name. It's meaningful for me, but it's just so difficult to pronounce. So right on the first day, the regional superior told me that, well, I think you have to change your name. Otherwise people here, they won't be able to pronounce your name. So what would you like to be called? So, I was thinking about my baptismal name is Peter. So in Spanish it's going to be Petro. And people are going to call me Petrocito. But at that time, the other sound didn't sound right for me. So I told him well, I would like to keep my name. So here is the consequence of that. So you can see people call me in different names like Trieu, Here, Trieu is trigo. In Spanish, it's going to be wheat. Tio is uncle. And Chio, actually a girl's name. I don't know how we come up with those names, but that's the first lesson that I learned, for being disobedient to the superior. But then, I do respond to the people whenever I heard my name, when they call me. So, as being shared with you, for OTP students like us, usually we have 4, 5 or 6 months to learn a new language. So for me, I went to this school, Runawashi, to learn Spanish. So Runawashi was a linguistic institution in Cochabamba. And you can see this one, the school, quite small, with 8 classrooms only. And then you can see here, like some of my professors, Spanish professors, some students, most of them are from zero. They came to Bolivia to be volunteers or tourists. So they usually stay in the school for, a few weeks, just for basic Spanish. But for me, I stayed there for 4 months. So when I told that to my professors, and they looked at me like they were so surprised. They said like, wow, you're going to stay with us for 4 months? They told me like, wow, at the end of the 4 months, your Spanish is going to be great. And then you're going to be able to speak like a native Bolivian. But, to be honest, I didn't trust them. I just believe in them because I came to Bolivia, with some basic Spanish like Buen dia, buenos dias, como te va, things like good morning, how are you doing, and fighting with you, those kind of things that we just know a little bit of it. And the grammar was so difficult. I have to tell you, like the grammar was so difficult. But during the time that I stayed there, I also had fun with the people. So we did some field trips to know a little bit about the local areas. I met new friends, learned a little bit from different cultures. So it was a good thing also. So after 4 months of learning Spanish, yet I survived. I was sent to this parish, Santa Maria de los Angeles, in El Alto, a city nearby La Paz, the capital. So pretty much this section is the city, El Alto, and the capital, La Paz, is right here in the valley. Right here is La Paz. So the El Alto is one of the highest city in the world, with an average elevation of 13,600 feet, or 4,100 meters above the sea level. And the SVD parish is located right at the center of the city. It's also the highest SVD parish in the world. But with this, elevation, it is also one of the biggest challenges for the SVD in Bolivia. You can ask Father Bang, he can tell you about that. So usually, the first time when you just arrive in this place, person gonna experience like dizziness, headache, fatigue. Sometimes it could have problem with breathing. Sometimes could even vomit whatever he or she eat. So it is quite a big challenge for the SVD. Not many of us are able to work over there. And you know what? The native people, they have bigger lungs than most of us here in order to survive in this condition. So El Alto is the developing city right now. It has the population is around 1 million people, and in the last few decades, there were several influxes of immigrants from the rural areas to the cities, and most of them were famous, so they didn't have much education. So the men came to the city, and a lot of them became taxi drivers. And you can see this one is like the van, or we call in Bolivia trufis, buses. So pretty much on the street you can see that there are more taxis or trufis or buses than private cars. And for the women, a lot of them became like a street vendor. So over there, like every Thursday and Sunday, the main street in the city are turning into a street market where thousands of people are selling and shopping on the street. It could be as long as 20 miles with this street market. So it's kind of, one of the most attractive places in this place for tourists. And then out of the city right now is the fastest growing urban in Bolivia, but it also faces with many problems, like we're talking about pollution, crime, talking about political instability, corruption, shortage of water supply, and the families are dysfunctional by the effects of drugs, alcohol, poverty, or domestic violence. One college student told me that she did not want to get married because of what she had seen in other families. So domestic violence is one of the most concerned topics right now in Bolivia. And that's also might explain why single mom is such a common phenomenon right now in Bolivia. Usually 7 out of 10 marriages end up in divorce. So Bolivia is a Catholic country, but many people do not practice their faith. They rarely come to church, and usually they only come to church when they, celebrate the death anniversary of their beloved one, or whenever there is Christmas or Easter, we call them Christa, right? And exactly the same situation right now in Bolivia. We don't have a lot of people coming to Mass. Usually our daily Mass, probably 10, 15 people attend to the Mass. So that is one of the, I think, the most challenging for the SVD over there, especially for the SVD who comes from Asian or African context. Because over there we have Mass with hundreds of people, thousands of people even, and then suddenly you came here and then you celebrate Mass with like 10, 15 people only. So one really has to be patient when working in Bolivia. So part of my main ministry is to be with the youth. This one is the group of choir. So we not only sang in our parish, but we also got invited to sing in cathedrals or the different events. We also celebrating birthday, and also sometimes we do potluck. You can see I also make some egg rolls for them over there. Thanks Father Bang for giving me the rice paper when he was visiting me in 2016. And then we also have a meeting with all the choirs from the other SVD parishes. As an activity. Also we have to go on for a retreat in Coripata, also another parish of the SVD. Another type of ministry is to be with these orphans. This program called Singa is to help the orphan and also provides education to the street children. So I kind of came there to play games with them, and also whenever they have different activities like school activities or fundraising, I also went there to be with them. Another part of my ministry was to be part of this dance group. Yeah, I like dancing, kind of. And then I have learned, the different traditional dances in Bolivia. So you have this one like caporales here, you have morenada here, you have mineritos over here, and you have diablada over here. So different type of dances there, and we have this, for different events like this one for Christmas. This one is for the diaconate ordination. This one is for the church festival. This one is for fundraising, and this one is for the competition. We have the competition among those parishes in the area, and we were fourth place in this competition. It was something fun for me to do, also to be part with the youth. And dancing is something very, I think, important and popular for the Bolivians, and very much in every city, they have their own festival, they have their own carnival. So in the city that I stayed in, Epworth, we have the Feast of the Our Lady of Mountain Camel on July the 16th. So you can see this the big festival for the whole city So the whole city, is celebrating it. So the big procession like here, we have this one led by the altar servers, and here with the bishop and the SVD priest, who work in the parish, and followed by the mayor of the city and her employees, her peoples. And after that, it's going to be thousands of dancers and instrumentalists. So it was like a big celebration for us, for the city. And whenever they pass by the parish, and they stop and they pray. Dancing is not just something for fun, for them. They dance as a devotion to Our Lady, not just purely a festival activity. So they pray, ask for blessing, protection to their families, and men also pray, even though not as many as the women. So this one is another carnival in Oruro. He is the first SVD bishop, and this carnival is probably one of the best in Bolivia. Like pretty much similar, right? Big procession leading with the altar servers, and after that the bishop, the priest. So now let me show you guys a video so you have kind of the taste of Bolivian carnival.
Comienzan los preparativos. Nuestras naciones y pueblos ancestrales agradecen en el Anatandino a la Madre Tierra por los frutos recibidos. Miles de músicos tocando al unísono en el grandioso festival de bandas. Muy cerca del cielo, la majestuosa obra maestra. Una fiesta única, mágica e inigualable, donde miles de personas danzan para cumplir una promesa de fe a la Madre Virgen del Socavón. Los colores se funden con las danzas, las máscaras y los trajes, donde las melodías se mezclan con las risas y la alegría. Ven a presenciar un espectáculo maravilloso, a disfrutar de la belleza, la música y el encanto, a sentir la experiencia más extraordinaria de tu vida. Carnaval de Oruro.
What do you guys think? So that is the carnival in Bolivia, and here are some pictures for you guys. I was there in 2016, so I was able to take this photo to share it with you guys. So it's beautiful, it's big, it's huge. A lot of people over there. You can see the costume, very colorful, of different shape, and then a lot of people just imagine like at one time, and suddenly you have 1,000 people dancing, and then music playing or every corner of the city. It was a great exotic moment, and not only the young or young adult dance, but also the elder, the children also participate in this festival. So it is something very important for the Bolivian. So this is my Mission Sunday. I also have a chance to celebrate with my conference, pretty much young missionaries in Bolivia. First, we went to a radio station, just to make an announcement that we are going to visit them. And then after that, we come to visit them in their house, in their village. And we also celebrate Mass with them, not in the chapel, like here, with the physical structure. We celebrate Mass on the mountain with them, be there with them, and after that we share their local food. It was a very nice experience for me. I also had a chance to participate in a traditional ritual over there. We have this, native priest. I guess we can call it like shaman. I don't like to use this term, but I think that's the only term that I have it now. He's from Bolivian priest. He's from Mexico. So we kind of like did a ritual, a ceremony over there. We offering gift, petition, prayer, and then we also ask permission before we climb that mountain. So something very interesting. Also, celebrate Aymara New Year on June 21st. Raise your hand like this to receive the first ray of sun, the first sun rays, and also the blessing of the new year. This one is having a program for the new missionaries in Bolivia. We have this meeting where we can share our own stories, our mission, our own struggles with the other SV missionary, and after that we have a trip. It's a program for the new missionaries. So after 1 year that I stayed in last parish, I was sent to this parish San Antonio de Padua in Arque. It was outside of the Cochabamba city. So you can see it was in a small, poor, rural area, village, with the population less than 70 people. It was quite a challenging mission for us. Before that, it used to have hundreds of families. But then when the government shut down the railroad operation, many people lost their jobs. So they left the village to the city in order to search for new life. So when the SVD accepted the mission, the village only had, I think, around 20 families. But there is a school, and there are also 70 outstations or communities around the area. So it was a quite difficult and challenging mission for us. Here's the road to get into the parish. The parish is kind of behind this mountain, and then you can see how crooked the road is, and it's quite dangerous and slippery, especially when it's raining. So Bolivia is the poorest country in South America, and this place is the poorest village in Bolivia. So you can see that poverty is clearly present in the atmosphere. Most of people are farmers, so they cultivate corn, wheat, potato on their rocky fields, and pretty much most of their products are for family use. They have a very simple life over there. They also have a big gatherings, for the communities. Some of them has to walk 4 or 5 hours to get there to be with the people. And most of them are Quechua. Quechua is the largest indigenous group in Bolivia, and they also have their own culture, their own language. Some of them, they only speak Quechua. And for us, 2 of us, were working over there. None of us know Quechua. So whenever people come and ask us, we didn't understand what they were asking. So we had to run around the village, searching for someone to help us to translate what exactly the person is looking for. So yes, learning Quechua is also another challenge for the SVD over there. They also have, dancing like this, but you can see that it's in a very small scale compared with what you saw before in the city. So part of my main ministry over there pretty much was everything. We didn't have a cook, so I had to cook every day. For 2 of us, also painting, doing remodeling the house in order to prepare for the catechist meeting. We also celebrating the Day of Children, giving out present for them. We also hosting guests come to visit us from Cochabamba. Also being with the students in the boarding school. Also visited the local school in order to invite students to our First Communion confirmation classes. Also celebrating Palm Sunday, with the Good Friday, Holy Thursday, like that. We're trying to do different things, celebrating this special Mass for the people. These people, they were from the village, but then they came to the city, and now they came back and asked for the Thanksgiving Mass. So we also helped them to do that. All went to celebrate Mass in our community, like in this community, in the plaster mine. There was an accident there, so they asked us to come there to say a Mass and also to pray for the family and also the community. So, we're trying to do different things in order to invite people back to the parish. But here's the result of it, it's the Easter Mass. Usually Mass attendance was low. Every day, daily Mass, we probably have like 1 or 2 persons. Sunday Mass, we probably have 7 or 8 people only. And here's Easter Mass. I think here we have more than 8, right? So it was kind of successful first with that dog. Everyone noticed that. But to be honest with you, this Mass, more than half of them I have never seen before. So it was like, Christian, Catholic again. So yes, the mission for us over there is difficult. But it is our call to be with the people. And I think that even though we don't know what is waiting for us ahead, but we trust in God that at the end of the road, someone is actually waiting for our visit. Someone is actually waiting for the good news. Thanks.
Questions?
Yes.
Thank you so much for your sharing. I also have heard about Father Bang's story. When he came to visit you, he was very sick over there, and until he came back, he is still sick. So I know that the condition over there is so hard for a missionary. So have you ever thought that you will give up? And what is your motivation to continue?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. Probably I am a little bit younger than Father Bang. Actually, I didn't experience, any of like dizziness or headache at all. Right on the first day, I couldn't sleep, but it was the only things that happened to me. But after that, I was fine. So the priest over there, the SVD over there, they were also surprised because, I was able to adapt so quickly to the high elevation. I don't know why, actually. Maybe.
Now that you're back in the United States, what do you miss the most about Bolivia?
I think what I miss most about Bolivia is the people, especially with the youth people, because right now I'm still in the, what we call WhatsApp. It's kind of like a very popular app that they use to communicate. Like here we have Facebook, Messengers, things like that. Down in the South, they use WhatsApp a lot. So I'm still in that group, and sometimes they send me messages and photos of their trips, their missions. So I think that's one of the things that I miss most in Bolivia. Yes.
I think that I read your article when you write about Bolivia. In your article, you said that there's one woman told you that I don't need any missionary. So how do you deal with that situation?
Tough question, right? Because we are missionary and we are called and sent to be with the people, but sometimes I think it's just because maybe our reaction or our behavior. Sometimes I think, like being already mentioned, is about clericalism. I think that's also something that the SVD have to be aware of. Because during the time that I was there, some priest is still like up here, and then people is down here. The way that they treat people. So I think that might cause that problem, that the woman, she did not want to see any missionary because of few bad examples of the SV that caused the problem. And I think that is also a warning for us, especially for my group, and then younger generation of the SVD, how we prepare ourselves to be actually with the people, not above the people, unlike the previous generation. Thank you.